Hello again. We are back with, well, more birds. I just realized, of course, that if I covered all of my bird coins in just one video, it would end up being like 2 hours long. So, of course, I got to break them down. And so today, I'm going to start where we left off. Last time we left off at Canada, so we go to the next country, the Cayman Islands. And before we cover the Cayman Islands, I do want to say that if you like this video, of course, please hit the thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell if you have not yet subscribed. I noticed, as I mentioned last week, that 80% of the people who've seen my videos have not subscribed. So if you do want to see more coin history and coin information, of course, please subscribe. There will be more. So let's start then. Cayman Islands. Is our first bird. This bird is known as the Grand Cayman Thrush. It was very common in the Cayman Islands. Well, it used to be common in the Cayman Islands. Unfortunately, it started to decline in the early 20th century, and then hurricanes in 1932 and 1944, unfortunately, was what probably finished it off. Last time one of these was seen alive was in 1938, and so we can only assume at this point that it is probably extinct, which is a pity. Now, the next two coins are from Chile. Now, these two coins have on their reverse, of course they're upside down, got to remember to flip them the right way there. So these two coins in Chile on the reverse have a what is known as an Andean Condor. This is the national bird of Chile. So there's one picture of it flying, and this one here looks like it is kind of perched up on the mountainside somewhere. Now, the Andean Condor, while it is not extinct, it is considered to be a vulnerable animal. It is noteworthy also because of its size. It is around 15 kilos, 33 pounds for my American friends, and has a wingspan of over 3 meters, or around 10 feet, which makes the Andean Condor the largest bird in the world that can fly. Any other bird that's bigger than the Andean Condor is a flightless bird. It cannot fly. So so from a distance, it looks pretty majestic, soaring thousands of meters above the ground. Close up, though, it is very similar to a vulture, and it is ugly. If you ever look at any pictures of an Andean Condor close up, yeah, not a very attractive bird. Now, our next country is Croatia. Here it is, Croatia. We have a bird here from Croatia. This one here is a nightingale. That's what it is. This bird, of course, is probably one of the most famous birds, at least in Europe. It is the bird most mentioned in song and literature, at least in European culture. Now, the next coin is from Cuba, and it has a picture of a very interesting bird here called a bee hummingbird. And this now, I should explain, this is a visitor's coin, is what it's called in Cuba, and it's only was supposed to be used within Cuba. A friend of mine visited Cuba back in the 80s, and he forgot to exchange this back to Canadian money, and so he gave it to me when he returned from Cuba. And the use of the visitors' money system, of course, enables tyrannical regimes like Cuba and North Korea to track where tourists go and how much tourists spend, and most importantly, how much money tourist-related businesses earn in the country. This bee hummingbird presumably got its name because it's almost as small as a bee, or it acts like a bee in some ways. It transfers pollen between flowers, actually, when it feeds on the nectar. It is the smallest bird in the world. The male bee hummingbird is half the weight of this coin. So, and the female will, when it nests, it lays 2 eggs, each one about the size of a typical coffee bean. Next, from Cyprus, we have a coin with 2 birds on it, actually. One side is a shield with a peace dove on it, a white dove with the olive branch in its bill. And on the other side, we got a bird here, which don't really know much about what kind of bird. It is a stylized bird that came from a piece of Cyprus pottery that was made sometime between 750 and 480 BC. When I look at it, I'm thinking it looks a bit like a peacock, but that is just a complete guess on my part. Oh, as an aside, the metal copper is actually named after the ancient name for Cyprus, Kypros. Copper mines in Cyprus likely provided the copper for many of the first copper coins struck around the Mediterranean. Next is Egypt. Now, this one here is a 10 piastre, and number 10 on that side, but on the other side we have our bird. Now, this bird is a stylized golden eagle. It makes up the coat of arms for the Federation of Arab Republics. Egypt was part of this federation from 1971 until it dissolved in 1977. Not to be confused with the United Arab Republic, which Egypt was part of from 1958 to 1961. Egypt is one of several countries that have a golden eagle as a symbol. I'll be mentioning at least one more before the end of this video. And then another one, we got the Falkland Islands. I only got 1 coin for the Falkland Islands, and it's got a bird on it, which I hope comes up clearly. But again, yeah, the copper patina does make it a bit difficult to see clearly. But this bird is usually found only in the Falkland Islands, in fact, and is called the Greater Magellan goose. Now, if you look at the picture, it does look a bit more like a flying duck, but it is actually a species of goose. The next coin is from Finland, and we have a bird here that is referred to as a I hope I pronounced this right, a caper kylie bird. And it reminds me of the North American wild turkey. It does have a similar tail shape, though it's not quite as large. But it does apparently have the same disposition as the North American wild turkey. It is aggressive, and it'll chase anyone that gets too close to the nest during nesting season. I suppose my Canadian friends would probably compare it to a Canada goose, which has a rather similar disposition. Then we got to the next golden eagle one, and this is from Germany. We have an old 10 Pfennig and a 1 mark, and the golden eagle in this case again is stylized, and it has a crown on the top of it, and the crown disappeared with the end of the monarchy, which of course ended at the end of World War I. In fact, here's an example of the bird without the crown. This is 1923. This is a 500 mark. This is probably one of the last coins that was made before the hyperinflation got really bad and they only started making paper rather than any coins. Now, in the 1930s, a lot of things happened in Germany, most of them bad. And the eagle insignia was modified again. And now the patina doesn't show it too well, but let's see if we can see it a bit clearly on this 10 Reichspfennig. There was a wreath added underneath the golden eagle, along of course with the infamous swastika, and the same one is on the 2 Reichspfennig as well. Now, with the end of the war, the crownless eagle was used again in many forms, such as this 5 mark coin. There he is there. Just plain eagle, no crowns and no wreaths and nothing else, just plain eagle. And then we have a highly stylized one here from the for the €2 coin. I think it's actually a very cool style of eagle. Here I've often wondered why the United States, for example, hasn't tried stylizing their American eagle a bit more. But we'll see. Have to see what happens on that. And the last coin, you may have seen this before. I talked about female allegorical symbols, and we talked about Greece. This is the goddess Athena, which I mentioned in a previous video. But the other side is what I want to look at today. And in this case, we got a bird, but it's a phoenix, which is, of course, a completely allegorical bird. It's not a real bird. The phoenix on this coin also, though, does remind me a bit of the golden eagle. But there appears to be really no consensus as to what species of bird the phoenix was. It seems logical to me that it would be some kind of raptor or bird of prey like a golden eagle, but a description by a Roman author, a guy called Pliny the Elder, who actually died when Pompeii, the Vesuvius erupted and buried the city of Pompeii. But he seemed to think that the phoenix, as the way he described it, was a golden pheasant, a bird that is found much further east than the Mediterranean. While a later Roman emperor, Antoninus Pius, one of his coins, struck between 138 and 161 AD, has a phoenix on it that the British Museum, and I do respect the opinion of the British Museum, they seem to think that it looks like a Numidian crane. I would show you one of those coins, but unfortunately I don't have any Antoninus Pius coins, least of all the one with the phoenix on it. If I ever do, of course, I promise I will do a video about it to show it off. But there we go. That's so that's the phoenix. You notice there's the flames underneath here. The phoenix, depending on which myth of the phoenix that you read, it either came out of the fire or rose from the ashes, is the common phrase that you hear people say. So that is a few more bird coins. And of course, if you do have any questions, please post in the comments. If you have any suggestions, of course, for any other coin videos to make, just let me know. I might have examples in my collection that I can use. And I thank everybody for watching.